Hi, my name's Darren. I have a huge crush on my doctor. Her name's Alana, and she's the smartest, most beautiful, most kind person you can ever imagine. I met her 2 years ago when I got in a bit of trouble after my gap year in Asia. We were hiking to this awesome elephant sanctuary, and I slipped on some mud and hurt my foot. Alana was in our hiking group. She was there on vacation, and she took care of me like the pro that she was. Every second of that trip we spent together, and when we finally came home, she became my new doctor. It was no secret that I had a crush on her. All of my friends would tease me about it, and my brother was my biggest tormentor of all. One time, he saw me trying out new clothes in the mirror before going to my doctor's appointment, and he laughed. "You think a shirt and new pair of sneakers are going to get her to notice you? You're staring at yourself in the mirror without seeing what matters. You've got no chance in hell, bud. You're a dork. And you're kind of ugly." He was right, of course, or at least I believed he was. You know how in families there's always that one kid who's not as good looking as the others? Well, that one's me. Ever since we were little, Paul and I have always been compared. And unfortunately, the comparison was never in my favor. Paul was always ragging on me about my little crush, as he puts it. Makes me feel like a schoolboy, and I resent it. But what really grates me is that he started going to Alana now too. And I think it's because he's trying to ask her out. But I was determined to put a stop to that. Sure, Paul had that megawatt smile, a handsome face, and the muscles of a demigod. Some might say my chances going up against him were about as good as a piece of paper stopping a tsunami. But Paul didn't know anything about Alana, and I did. And I knew Paul would need way more than looks and muscles to impress her. My brother has the personality of plain cardboard, so let's just say I was confident I had a head start. I was nervous about asking her out. I wanted it to be special. I took a job at a convenience store and saved up for months. Every single cent I made I used to buy this really nice necklace, with a pendant adorned with Alana's favorite gem, her birthstone, sapphire. The moment I made enough money, I ran to the jeweler's, bought the necklace, grabbed a bouquet of red tulips from the flower shop, and hightailed it to Alana's clinic. The receptionist told me she was busy, but I couldn't hold in my excitement, and I burst through her office door. Alana's face was a mixture of shock, shame, and fury, but when she saw what I was holding, she grew sad. My brother, on the other hand, laughed. "Jesus Christ, Darren, what the heck is this? Flowers? Jewelry? What are you, some kind of simp? Wow, it's hard to believe we share the same genes. You got no game whatsoever. No real woman's gonna fall for that weak sauce attempt. Thanks for the bling anyway. I'll sell it and pay for our next date." Alana then pushed me out of her office, and I knew she was annoyed. I could tell by the way her face was twisted and the not very subtle hiss she gave me. "Don't you know how to knock?" Then Alana slammed the door in my face, both literally and figuratively. I felt, defeated. Like, I know looking back on it now, it wasn't that serious, but at the time it felt like the world was ending. It's not easy to admit, but it hurt. It hurt that my brother was a selfish, greedy piece of crap, and it hurt that the one girl I was so in love with chose him. Everyone always chose Paul. When Mom and Dad were still together, Mom always read Paul bedtime stories and skipped me. Dad always plays catch with him, but not me. When they got divorced, Dad fought to get Paul. He won. And Mom dumped me with him because she wanted Paul, not me. I was thinking about locking myself up in my room for 20 years and wondering whether Dad would object if I just became a monk somewhere when I noticed something was up. My house was across the road, and there were people I didn't recognize in front of it. I knew the guys. They were the local troublemakers. Last Halloween, they egged our neighbor's house because she only gave them the fun-sized Snicker bars and not the big ones. But the girls they were talking to, I had never seen them around town before, and they had a pile of luggage behind them. The boys looked like they were asking for something, and the girls had no intention of giving whatever it was. And then I saw one of the guys raise his fist in the air, and the girls flinched and screamed in fear. I rushed toward the guys and grabbed the guy's arm before he could hit any of the girls. His friends pushed me and threw me on the ground like a rag doll. I'd never been in a fight before. I didn't expect things to be so fast. But I got back up and grabbed an umbrella from one of the girls' bags. I swung it around like a sword. Luckily, I was such a huge fan of martial arts movies that I took Arnis and Kali lessons. My brother told me I was a dork for doing so, but this was exactly the kind of thing I needed it for. I tripped the first one with the umbrella handle, and as I swung the umbrella around, I directed it at the second guy who had lunged at me and was airborne. The umbrella caught him in the stomach, and I sent him flying across the lawn, and he conveniently landed in some nasty-looking cacti. The third one stood there frozen, and then he ran with his tail between his legs. The girls rushed at me and hugged me. They planted kisses on my cheeks. "Oh my God, that was awesome! You're even better than I imagined. We should take a selfie. #myhero." What? Who are you? And why are you in front of my house with all this stuff? "We're your sisters, silly." "Stepsisters. Didn't Dad ever tell you about us?" After I'd welcomed them all in and given them some drinks and snacks, I was on a roller coaster ride of discoveries. Turned out my dad had this entire secret family besides my brother and I. He had been living with them every time he went on his so-called business trips. We had 3 stepsisters, and now my dad had run off on them and us. Yeah, it's awful. Mom said he had another secret family, and they all moved to some stupid island or something. Your mom, why aren't you guys with her? Oh, she dumped us with Dad, and now Dad dumped us here. I made a mental note to never turn into our parents. The girls named me head of the house for rescuing them, and as a reward, they took me shopping. They bought me new clothes, gym equipment, an entire gaming setup, a new phone, and lots of sneakers. Then they took me to a fancy restaurant, and then we watched an afternoon's worth of movies. They brought in trucks upon trucks of stuff for the house, and within an hour, the driveway was full of cars as designers, architects, and contractors made their way into the house to take in the changes the girls wanted done on the house. It turned out my stepsisters were stinking rich, and I just saved them. So now they were going to do whatever they could to repay me. And as soon as my makeover was done, I was unrecognizable. I never thought a few changes could make me look so good. The girls treated me like their prince. They served me and never let me stand up. If I needed anything, they'd go and get it. Even if I just wanted to have a glass of water, they forced me back down on my armchair and fetched it for me. When my brother got home, he was in a bit of a mood. I guess he was hoping to get the house for himself because he brought company, Alana. The heck are all these cars and trucks doing outside our house? And who the heck are... Oh, wow, sorry. Didn't realize we had gorgeous company. As soon as he saw the girls, his tone changed, and I could tell Alana was getting pissed. She took one look at me and her jaw dropped. Darren, is that really you? You look so hot. I mean, different. Shut up, Alana. No matter what my brother wears, he'll still be a dork inside. A dork nobody ever wanted to date. Suddenly, my stepsisters stood up from sitting on my chair's arm and raised their eyebrows at my brother. What do you mean? We like him. And who are you again? And what are you doing in my house? Not your house. Not anymore. When Paul couldn't make out what was happening, I couldn't help but grin with satisfaction as I enlightened him. How rude of me. I never got to introduce our millionaire stepsisters to you. Dad left them the deed to the house, and they gave it to me. I'm the man of the house now, and as such, I get to say what goes from now on. And you know what? I think you'd really benefit from staying in the garden shed from now on. I've already had the new maids move your bed and your clothes in there. No, you can't do that. Please, bro, I need my own room. Don't make me stay out there. Well, if your room's not even in the house, what's the point of dating you? I don't want to be some loser's girlfriend. Darren, you still like me, don't you? Maybe, do you want to be my boyfriend? The girls laughed at Alana's desperation, but my answer shocked everyone, even my brother. Yeah, sure. Alana squealed with joy. And then she came to hug me and kiss me. As soon as she pulled away, I wiped my lips. There was no spark, no chemistry there, and I knew I didn't really love her. It was just a dumb crush. I dumped her on the spot, and suddenly she had neither Paul nor me. Why would I want an opportunist like you, Alana, when I have 3 amazing girls who wouldn't treat me like a second choice? I kissed Precious, Maxie, and Jenna, and I slammed the door on Alana's face.
Please don't forget to share this podcast on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. Thanks for your support. Check out our YouTube channel by clicking the link in this episode description. And also, kindly please rate and review this podcast. Bye.